So, what if the very idea of a company, the way it's been structured for basically 2,000 years, is just obsolete? That's the wild idea behind a really radical experiment being run by Block CEO Jack Dorsey. He's not just tweaking the org chart, he's trying to tear the whole thing down and rebuild the company as a single, coordinated intelligence, an AI. So, how in the world did we get here? Well, we're going to start with the radical reboot that kicked this whole thing off. Then, we'll look back at the 2,000-year-old problem it's trying to solve. From there, we'll dive into this vision of the company as an AI, check out the new rules of work it creates, and finally ask a really big question. What even is a company in this new world? The story of this whole transformation really kicks off with a pretty shocking number: 40%. That's the chunk of Block's workforce that was let go. And not over months, but in one fast, decisive move. But this wasn't just about cutting costs. See, this wasn't just downsizing, it was a full-on reboot of the company's entire operating system. The decision to rebuild the organization around AI was made in less than 3 weeks, and it came from this growing feeling of, well, urgency about what's coming next. Jack Dorsey saw what was happening with AI and didn't see it as something to just react to. He saw it as a fundamental shift that makes the old ways of working totally irrelevant. He basically asked, if you were to start a company from scratch today with the tools we have now, would it look anything like the one you're running? And for him, that answer was a loud and clear no. So, what's this deep, fundamental problem that needed such a drastic fix? Well, it turns out it's not some modern issue. It's a structure we inherited from ancient military command, a design that's been with us for 2 millennia. Yep, the good old hierarchy. At its core, the classic pyramid structure was never built for speed. It was actually a brilliant solution for its time, right? For managing information when one manager could only keep tabs on a handful of people. But in the digital age, that very design creates some serious bottlenecks. Just think about it. In our remote-first world, every Slack message, every Google Doc, every line of code, it's all data about how the company is running. The old way relies on humans to pass that info up and down the chain, and that process is just slow, it loses all the important context, and let's be honest, it's pretty much obsolete. So yeah, this old model creates politics, right? People are jockeying for position. It grinds decisions to a halt while information crawls up and down the chain. It's a system that just wasn't built for the speed and the sheer amount of data we deal with today. Okay, so if the human-managed hierarchy is the problem, what's the answer? Well, for Dorsey, it's not about fixing it. It's about replacing that function entirely. He imagines turning the company from an organization of people into an organization that is an intelligence. The goal here is to treat the company itself as a kind of mini AGI, an intelligent agent that can learn, understand, and act. So instead of employees working for the company, they start interacting with the company's intelligence, a system everyone can ask questions of and contribute to. And this visual really captures the whole shift perfectly. We're moving from that familiar pyramid with humans stuck in the middle passing messages to a circle. And what's at the center? The company's intelligence. All the humans are on the edge, doing what we do best, providing judgment, creativity, and direction. Now, this is a really fascinating vision, but it has huge, real-world consequences for how people actually do their jobs. So what does it really look like to work inside this AI-powered company on a day-to-day basis? Well, first, you just get rid of all those complex layers of management. VPs, directors, senior managers, all those layers just vanish. The entire organization gets flattened and simplified down to just 3 core functions. And here they are. You're either an IC, an individual contributor, who builds and operates stuff relying on your judgment and taste, or you're a DRI. That's a directly responsible individual who owns customer outcomes, and it's all about accountability. Or you're a player coach, a role that's focused on making other people better at what they do. And this is important. It's an assignment, not some permanent management job title. This new company brain is being built in 4 distinct layers. You start with the foundation, the company's core capabilities, the tools it uses. On top of that, you have the customer interfaces, like Cash App. The next layer adds proactive intelligence to start anticipating what people need. And it all leads up to the final layer, creating these really comprehensive world models for a deep, deep understanding of both the company and its customers. At the heart of this are 2 world models. The company model is built from all the internal data, docs, code, Slack messages, creating a map of itself that it can actually read. Then you have the customer model, which is built on transaction data, what Dorsey calls the most honest signal, to really understand what customers truly need and do. But this whole shift, it's not just about being more efficient. It fundamentally redefines what a company even is. It challenges the entire idea that a company's direction should be set by a small group of people at the very top. Dorsey argues that the biggest thing holding any company back is its own predetermined roadmap. So this new model is designed to just get rid of that limitation entirely and let the company evolve in real time. So the end goal here is a system where a customer can literally ask for a feature that isn't on any roadmap, and the company's AI can just build and deliver it on the fly. In this world, the customer's intent doesn't just inform the roadmap, it is the roadmap. This whole experiment really forces a provocative question for every single organization out there. In an era where AI can coordinate work and understand data way better than any human manager, is that 2,000-year-old hierarchy finally truly obsolete? Ultimately, Dorsey believes that in a future where AI handles all the coordination, the most valuable human skills that are left are judgment, creativity, and taste. It's not about managing people anymore. It's about having a unique point of view and the drive to make that vision a reality.